Hi everyone, good evening.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, Adil. Good evening, others. Good evening, Reena, Ibrar. Good evening. Hi.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Viraj. Uh, Again, an announcement from your teaching coordinators. Please do submit your CCs and assignments. We are towards the end of the course. We just have the React part. No, all these your CCs and assignments will be considered for your placements. Okay, so please do submit your CCs and assignments on time. Okay, whenever you finish, please submit it. Don't wait till the last moment to submit it. Okay. Yeah, there's been continuous announcement by Lalita as well in the announcement session. Even Tata batch, you will have to submit your CCs and assignments on time. Okay, since we are towards the end, all these will also be considered for your placements. Okay, there are few people who are not submitting even after continuous reminder. Okay, please make sure that you don't you submit your CCs and assignments on time. Okay, if you have any doubts, please do reach out to your mentors if available, or your teaching essay. No, you have class at 6:30, right? Yeah, please do reach out to your mentors. If not, if you have any clarification, you can always ask me after the class. Like, only when everyone leave, I'm just ending the meeting. Okay. So if you have any doubts regarding theses and assignments, feel free to ask after the class. Okay. You can share your screen and ask me.
Hi. Oh, hi. कैसी हो? मैं ठीक हूँ.
Please mute yourself. Let me post the MCQ. Added MCQ for Baba batch. Yes, for Tata also I have posted. Simple one. If you know how object.freeze works, this is pretty straightforward. Let me quickly share my screen as well. Have everyone installed Mongo? Okay, and one other thing, uh, you know, let us try to be a little faster than the pace which we are already going. Okay, because we have, we have got the hold of the basics. Okay, only if we are going a little faster, we will get time to cover more advanced topic. Okay, so yeah, not in this not in a way that you cannot understand. Obviously that's the priority. Okay, you will have to understand. Stop me then and there if you cannot understand anything. But uh, I'll try to increase the pace of the class a little bit. Okay, if that is not what is comfortable for you, just let me know. Okay, yes. After installing, what will I do to connect? Okay, so one thing for in Windows users, so if you have watched the last session of yesterday, no, last 5 minutes, we were able to install it in mission, in Adil's mission. Okay, if you try to, let me show you, quickly, let me show you. Go to this particular link. Okay, and in your Mongo compass, select the Windows. Okay, okay, select this MSI version and click download. You will be able to connect and run it. Okay, so after installing it, okay, you will have to go to your yeah, Adil, will you help me sending the link of the bin folder from Windows to set the environment variables if you are there in the class? I believe you are. Yeah. Okay, so you will have to set up the environment variable in your system. Okay, go to your Windows. Okay, go to editing environment variables window, and then you will have a environment variable called path. Okay, yeah, he has sent the link. Okay, everyone should have this MongoDB file inside program files. Okay, so copy this path, which by default that would be the path for Windows machine. Okay, so just copy that, go to your editing environment variable window. Okay, you will find one variable called path. Click on that, edit, and then add this one. Okay, if any one of you are configuring just now, can you please share your screen? If any one of you have difficulties in installing Mongo, okay, please do share your screen so that it's helpful for others as well and you also benefited. Have every one of you installed? Like after install, after configuring the environment variable, go to your, yes,
I
Kanha.
have, ma'am, I have installed that MongoDB, but
Okay.
after that, what I have to do?
Okay. If you have installed, if you have configured, have you configured environment variable?
Actually, I did something, so I don't know what I did.
Okay, just configure environment variable.
Ah,
Okay. Yeah. you will see the path link in the chat. Copy that and add it in your environment variable inside path. Okay, after adding your environment variable, go to your terminal or CMD and type in Mongo. You should be able to see that it's being started. This is the shell version, okay, command line version, okay, doing everything in your command lines. Okay, so after configuring your environment variables, you can go to your Mongo compass. Okay, just click in connect. Okay, this is connecting to your local database, right? Everything is in local. So these three are default databases created by Mongo for you. Do not disturb that. I have created a sample database, with a collection called users, and I have tried adding few entries. That and all we will see today. Okay, but these three you should be able to see. Okay, if you face any errors while connecting it, make sure you have configured the environment variables. So we are not going to work with local. I am just showing you how to configure it in a local, the other way of configuring it. Okay, we are going to work with Atlas only. So even if you face any issues with installing it in local, we can discuss it after class. Okay, do the steps which I told you. Let me know in the end of the class if you face any difficulties. But now I will show you the how to have the cloud version of your MongoDB at least. Okay, so now if you see this one, your database is in local. Okay, you have your database maintained in your machine. Okay, this Atlas is the cloud version. Okay, basically a database. Okay, a particular database is assigned to you and it is hosted in cloud, which you can access it. Got that? Got the difference between like what Atlas is doing for you? Yes. Okay, so this is the, if you can see here, cloud hosted MongoDB service on AWS, Azure, all are these cloud providers, right? You can host them. So MongoDB Atlas is helping you to host your database, okay, in these cloud service providers like Google Cloud or AWS, which you can use it to access your data. Okay, instead of maintaining it locally, you are hosting it in one of the cloud service providers and then using it, which we call it as database as a service. Understood? This is the cloud version. You don't need to install anything. Please do along with me itself. Okay, so tomorrow you will have CC with connecting with database, so you don't get stuck, okay, with configuring. So nothing to install on your machine. It's the cloud version. Go to MongoDB at least. Okay, I have already logged in using Atenu. Let me log out and sign in using any other account. I don't want this. Just give your email IDs. Okay, log in with your Gmail accounts. Huh. Give me a minute. Okay. Again. Just click on accept and then submit it. Okay. Just give learn MongoDB or build a new application. Okay, give application mount this. Yeah, give content management. Okay, select JavaScript and then click on finish. Okay, so now if you see here, okay, there are 3 versions of it. Remember I told you something called clusters. So your MongoDB is being separated as separate instance called clusters, okay, which contains a part of your data. Okay, if it is a serverless, which means based on how much ever you use, okay, based on that you can pay. Okay, it's not a dedicated instance just for you. Okay, if you have a company, you definitely need to go with a dedicated instance to have high performance, because if that particular instance is dedicated just to you, you own, okay, so you will have a higher performance, right? So this serverless is to just to pay how much ever you use it, okay, and you pay accordingly. We are going to use the shared one, meaning internally they have designed in such a way that each of the clusters can be shared with multiple users. Okay, since it's a free edition, that is what they are going to give us. Okay, yeah. Yeah, means cluster is similar as table. No, Shubham, no. Clusters are not as tables. Okay, clusters are, let me bring in the notepad which I uh, scribbled
No,
yesterday.
no, no, it's a typo mistake. Means collection. I mean to
Yeah,
say collection.
yeah. So
Collection
so
is similar
here,
as table.
collection is stable. Yes, correct. That is correct. We will see that terminologies and all. This is what we were seeing, right? So where did it go? Okay. So if you see here in vertical scaling in RDBMS, you have a 1 dB and it becomes difficult to scale out. Okay. Only scaling up is supported in an efficient way. Okay. When you go to NoSQL databases, okay, scaling out, which is horizontal scaling, is supported, meaning your databases are divided into, not divided, there are multiple, instances of your databases where your data is basically sharded, okay, horizontally. A part of data is in this database, a part of this a part of your data is in this database. So each one we call it as partitions or clusters. Okay, so MongoDB free version is giving us particular cluster which internally is also shared by multiple users, and they have their own design to fetch your own data alone. Okay, instead of mixing up, even if it's shared, they have their own internal design to have a database which is shared among, have a cluster which is shared among multiple users. Got it? Okay, so that is what here we are going to use the shared cluster. So create, use that. Okay, if you see here, I told you your databases is going to be hosted in any of the cloud service providers. So you can configure like whatever cloud service provider you wanted the database to be hosted in. So AWS Mumbai is the nearest. Based on our location, it will give you by default. Okay, so this is the cluster details, like what's the storage, and what's the RAM and all these. RAM is shared, the storage is 512 MB and all these. Okay, you cannot edit it. If you try to edit it, I think it will ask you to pay. Okay, additional settings, again, if you want to have any backup, again, for that also you will have to pay. Cluster name, you can edit it. Okay, you can edit it. Let me have it as Ateneo, edit it, and then create cluster. After creating the cluster, have the configure username and password for your database. Okay, and then create user. Okay, multiple users also you can configure if multiple people are trying to access your database, but for now your own credentials will work. Okay, and then okay, so now if you see here, where would you like to connect from? Okay, are you connecting in local environment or are you connecting in cloud environment? So I need to connect to no, at least in my local environment only. From my local applications only, I wanted to connect it to Atlas, right? Not from any hosted applications, right? So click my local environment. Again, this is to restrict the IP addresses which are trying to access your database. Okay, so let's say if you want, if you add only current IP address, only request from this IP address will be able to access this database. Okay, we don't want that because this IP address might be changing as and when I disconnect internet, or it might be changing. So you want all addresses to be, allowed, all all IP addresses to be allowed. So you can simply give 0.0.0/0. So if you configure like this will simply allow request from all IP addresses to access your cloud database. Is that clear? I'm just adding an entry. Okay, add current IP address will not cause a problem. In case if your IP address change, then it will become a problem. Okay, and then finish and then close. Go to databases. We are done setting up. Okay, it will take some time to set up your cluster. Okay, after, let me log this out. Okay, it will take up, we have already created. Okay, it's no created, I believe. Give some time. Let me log out from this database. Everyone done with creating clusters? Any issue so far?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. Once your cluster is created, okay, you should be, a cluster is an instance of the entire, it's a part of the database that your Mongo Atlas is giving you to configure. Okay, so I have a cluster created. So if I go to browse collections, okay, so there you should see all the data. Okay, they will have some sample data, I believe. Okay, you can also load sample data. I think you will have somewhere here to load all the sample data. Do you see somewhere? Load sample data, anything of that sort? These are all the sample data which I have loaded in this, uh, thing. Okay, let me delete all of this. Oh, this is a tedious process. Okay, you should see some sample data being added here by default itself. But if there is no sample data, okay, you can leave it. Okay, we are done configuring the cluster. That is all. You just need to connect it. Everything else is done. Okay, so it will take some time for you, to configure. Before that, we will see few terminologies used in MongoDB, and going forward, we will refer those by that names and only. Okay, I'll tell you what each of them mean, and then we will get started with integrating our MongoDB with our node application. Okay, and after that we will see how to do basic other CRUD operations and all. Okay, so yes. Give me a minute. Okay. So MongoDB, as I told, okay, follows JSON kind of a structure. Okay, but if you take the terminologies internally, if you see, okay, data you will find, okay, that in MongoDB data is organized in BSON format. Okay, which is Sudhakar. Can you just mute yourself? Yeah. What is BSON? Anyone can tell me? Any guesses on that? Okay, this is just a JSON. Okay, an extended version of JSON. Extended JSON, you can say, which stands for, extended version, which everything in JSON. Okay, everything which is represented in JSON format can be still represented as a BSON. Okay, so there is no there's nothing like JSON will not be supported. Okay, it is just an extended version of JSON, which we call it as binary string representation, I believe.
Binary JavaScript orientation notation.
Yeah, correct. But in a MongoDB, no, if you go and see the documentation of MongoDB, mm, just wanted to show the documentation. Okay, this is going to somewhere like resources and all. Mm, okay. So they tell this as a binary representation of JSON, which is just an extended version of your JSON itself, okay, which has more data types, more specific data types and all. Okay, let's not confuse ourselves with that. Okay, just think of it has some extended, features, which is the binary representation of your JSON format itself, and along with that, it has few data type support, okay, which will help you with querying and all. Okay, so if you see, it will be very similar to JSON, and everything you represent in JSON format will be supported by your MongoDB. Okay, so let us come to few uh, uh, terminologies here. Okay, one is database, the other is collections, next one is documents. Okay, documents. Database, everyone know, right? You create an entire database and then you name it. Okay, database is something common, right? You create a database. You can have multiple databases created. I don't know why my pencil is slow, but yeah. Okay, inside the database, if you take SQL databases, yesterday I told you tables, right? Tables, rows and columns and all. So this is table, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in NoSQL, okay, tables are otherwise called as collections. Collections. Okay, this entire product is a collection. Okay, got it? Product here is a table, but here it is called as collection. Okay, next one. Inside each of the table, you have rows, right? Entries, items, row 1, row 2. Okay, similar to that, inside collections, you have documents. So you say this one, no, product one, the entire JSON one, you call it as document. Okay, each collection can have multiple documents. You have this product 2 as document 2. Okay, so this is document 3, right? Like that. Okay, instead of saying rows, you say it as documents. Okay, so a database can have multiple collections, right? A collection can have multiple documents, right? Understood these three terms? Any confusion on this? Any confusion on this? No, no, right? So every table, okay, when you call it as a table in NoSQL or in MongoDB, to be in specific, they are called as collections. Okay, each collection, and each collection can have multiple documents. Okay, for example, here product is a collection, and inside the product you have product ID 1 as document 1 and document 2 and document 3. Is these terminologies clear? Let me quickly go to MongoDB Atlas. Okay. Now, okay, what you need to do is to connect it. Okay. You can either go inside, view everything inside the cloud itself, or you can connect it. Let's view it inside the cloud and then show you how it is happening. Okay, so if you see here, you can create databases. Okay, if you see here, I have a database called sample Airbnb. Okay, this is the database name. As I said, a single database can have multiple collections, right? Account is a collection, customer is a collection, transaction is a collection. In Airbnb, I have only one collection. Okay, in geospatial data, I have shipwreck collection, right? So these are all databases, and I am creating collections, meaning I'm creating tables for each entry. Let's go to analytics only. I have three collection: accounts, customers, and transactions. Okay, if I go to accounts, okay, can you see loading documents? Which means each of this, right? Each entry is named as documents. Understood what database collection documents are? Okay, you can insert a document, right? In this itself, this is the UI version of the cloud. You can simply add whatever fields you want. Okay, no, as I said, this is schemaless, right? I can give any property I want. I can have, there's no restriction, any type I want. Each document can be of an entirely different schema. I don't have any criteria that I will have to follow the same property. Okay, that you should be clear. But generally, when you have a collection, most of the things, you group it together. If it's a product, you group only products together. Okay, that's a good design, right? You don't put in category there, right? Or you don't put in customer details inside product collection. Okay, so generally try to group related things in a particular collection, and don't group multiple entries in the same collection. Okay, so when I say collection, I can keep on adding. Let's say I want to add account ID, okay, and give some random number. Okay, again, add one more. Limit. Let's say it's 9. Okay, and then I am going to let's make this as int, right? That is what we have already. I'm not going to give products array and all. I'm just going to add that document. Okay, this should be added. Okay, I don't know where it is added, but let's search for it. Okay, what's the field? Limit, right? Limit, I gave 9 if I'm not wrong. Okay, the entry which I have got added. Okay, this is to add manually in the cloud version. Okay, you can add, delete, edit. If you can go here and edit, you can do whatever you want. You can update document. Okay, so these are all cloud versions. Okay, you can do all the CRUD operations here, but this is not how we do it in real time, right? You have an application, and through that application you perform these operations, right? Everyone agree with me on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't go and update entries in the database manually like this. Yes, that's for learning purpose. You can still do it in the cloud, but that's not users and customers interact with applications, right? You have an application, and that application interact with this MongoDB, right? So you need to connect your application to this MongoDB. So if you go up, you can see in the overview section a connect button. Okay, a connect button, click on that. Okay, if you see Mongo shell, connect to your Mongo shell. That's the command line thing which I was talking about. Okay, you can connect to the Mongo shell. You can connect this. Mongo is actually connected with my local, right? This Mongo shell is connected with my local database, right? If I wanted to connect it with my atlas, I need to copy the URL. Okay, it will give you some URL, copy that and paste it in your command line, and it should work. Okay, now let's not see with the command line. Yes, you can still go and explore. Okay, we are going to connect it with our Node.js application. Okay, let me show you connecting with Mongo Compass. Okay, I have a Compass. This Compass is connected with my local DB. Okay, let me go and disconnect the existing one. Okay, that is, I'm disconnecting it from local. Now go connect using Mongo. I have MongoDB, Mongo Compass. Okay, copy this link. Okay, go back to your Compass, click on edit, confirm, and then paste the link which I added. Okay, so just remove this password and then add your password. Got it? So I just click the connect button, connect to Compass. Okay, copy the URL and then change my password alone. Now if I connect, it should take some time. Try to refresh. Even then it's not connected. Not this one. Will be prompted with the password. Okay. Should I change this database name? Okay, let us check that. Okay, let's create a database. Okay. probably a test database, and I'm going to create a collection called sample test. Just create the database. Hmm. Still not able to view it. Is anyone able to connect it? I think I should terminate this one if I'm not. Okay, that's the reason. Your local is being connected in the shell, and I was not able to connect it. Now, if you see everything in the database, right? In my collections in the cloud is being connected in Compass. Okay, if you wanted to work in local with Compass, you can do this as well. But our ultimate aim is to connect it to our application, right? So you can everyone can either work in local or in cloud, right? Any issue so far with connecting your database with local? Okay, local, if you don't get it, just leave it. Okay, not a problem. Okay, if you are able to connect with cloud, at least that should be fine. Okay, go click this. I'll repeat. Okay, after creating your cluster, okay, go click connect to Mongo Compass. Okay, copy this and then remove paste the password whichever you have configured, and then go to your Compass and give that URL. You should be able to connect it. Okay, now, so connecting and working with databases are fine, right? Like in the Compass I can do, or in the shell I can do. I wanted to connect my application. Okay, let me go to my backend Node.js project. First, before seeing the CRUD operation, okay, we will see how to just simply insert and then get the data. Okay, just dump the data and then retrieve it. Okay, these are the simple operations which we are going to see, and we are going to see that on connecting it to our node application. Is that clear? We are going to connect our database to our application, and through the application we are going to simply dump the data into the database. Okay, and then retrieve it. Understood what we are going to do? Okay, let me remove everything related to Mongo here, which I have done for sample. These are all validations. Give me a minute, I'll just explain. So I have created a simple Node.js application, okay, which has package.json in my app.json. Okay, I have created a user details form. Okay, user details form, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, which has the name field, email, phone, date of birth, gender, and submit details. Is that clear? What are the fields I have added here? Everyone? Any doubts on the HTML page? Okay, I have done it beforehand, so we don't waste time with the concepts which we already know. Okay, so this is the HTML page. Okay, I am going to post this in /users URL, and that is the method is going to be post. Now going back to my app.js, nothing complex. Okay, installed Express. Okay, I have added Express validator as well. Okay, you know already this one, Express validator. Okay, since we are accepting data from HTML form, you need to add URL encoded middleware, right? So that I have added, and I have a simple route here, okay, which will, when the user is trying to hit the base URL, it will be served with the HTML page. Understood? So this is the simple HTML page which will be served. Okay, this is the post request. Okay, on getting the request, I am adding tons of middlewares, okay, from Express Validator to validate each of my field. I don't want irrelevant data to be added into my database, right? So I am just validating it. I'm validating username if it's not empty. Okay, email, just checking if it's an email, and if it's a mobile number, if it's a date, DOB is a date, and I have also given the format of the date that I'm expecting. Okay, and gender, I have added a custom validator that it should be either M or F. Okay, the value should be either M or F, else I will send that it is an invalid gender value, else I have validated. Any doubts in this part? No, right? All concepts you already know. Okay, I've just done it beforehand so that I can explain Mongo, okay, to specific in with the along with the application itself. Okay, so and then I am getting if there are any errors in the validation, I'm using validation result and then checking if it's not empty, right? If it's not empty, again there is some error, so I'm just returning the error, else I'm calling the next middleware. Okay, let me remove this async and all. The next middleware is simply getting the fields of my body, and I haven't done anything. Okay, I'm just returning inserted successfully. We should ideally be inserting it into our database at this particular point. Okay, this is to get all the users added into our application. A simple route. Okay, we will have to fetch the data, fetch users data from DB. Here we will have to add users data. Is that clear? Any doubts with the, don't assume that I have, programmed it already. Nothing new. You already know every statement here. Okay, let me know if you feel that it's not anything is not clear here. Then we can go with connecting our application to our database. Everyone? Abhishek has set me clear. Shubham, okay. Others, Amanjot, Bhushan, 27 of you are here. Dharm, Dheeraj, Ganga, Ibrar, Sadik.
Clear, ma'am, clear.
Clear? Okay, nothing new, right? Nothing new concepts which we have seen already, you know. We should add data here, and we should retrieve the data here. These are the two URLs we have as of now. So let me run this. I've also configured the script here, so I can simply do npm run start. It should just started the application. Let's go back. Localhost 3000, right? 3000 should give me the HTML form. Okay, based on our route here. Basic route should return our HTML form. So this form will, after user entering the data, will call the post method that the URL is going to be /users. Okay, can we just give the data and check if we are able to retrieve it in the backend? App.js. I'm just console logging the request body. Okay, let me give all the data. ABC, name, number, date. Okay, submit details. I'm getting the data in my backend. Okay, so now this data, this is a JSON format, right? This data I need to add it into my database. Okay, so since this is a node application, okay, a backend can be in any language, right? We are developing in Node. There can be Java, right? They can be Python based, that, or they can be Golang or multiple languages. So for every language to integrate with your Mongo database, you have an intermediate library, okay, which we generally call it as a driver. Okay, if you take MySQL database, MySQL driver will be there if you wanted to integrate your application to your database. Okay, since we are using Node.js, okay, we will normally we will install all the packages from npm, right? Just go and type in MongoDB. Okay, the first one is the ask, right? The official MongoDB driver for Node.js applications, right? So we call for every database you have a driver which will help you to connect your application to your database. If it's a Mongo, it's going to be a MongoDB driver. You have MySQL driver. Okay, based on the database, you have different drivers which you need to use in order to integrate your application to your database. Okay, let's go and use that. Okay, npm I MongoDB. Okay, let me stop the server, install MongoDB. Okay, I have already installed, so I need not connect to my VPN here. Okay, you should get it installed here, and you should see it in package.json. After installing, okay, similar to how you import other packages, okay, just import them. Before that, let's go back to the npm documentation itself on how to use it. Install, this part is done. Okay, so this is the few set of lines in order to connect to our database and then add it. Okay, so before configuring this, let's go back. We need to create a collection, right? So we need to create a database and we need to create a collection, right? Yes or no? Let me delete this collection so I can just no. Okay, so inside your cluster, okay, let me leave all these sample databases, create a new databases. Okay, now I'm going to store user related information. I'm going to create a DB. Okay, you can name it any how you want it to based on your application. So I'm naming it as user. Okay, the collection name is going to be user details. Okay, basically I'm going to store all the user details, right, in the from the form. Okay, I'm creating a collection and then click on create. Now we have created the database and we have also created a collection inside our database. Okay, you can also add a document here. Okay, you can also add document, delete, and all these things you can do. But create a database and a collection in the atlas and then come back to your MongoDB driver. So far clear? Any doubts? Let me stop. Have every one of you done this much? Any doubts so far? Are we clear what are we trying to do? I'll tell you all the CRUD operations. Don't worry, like how to query from MongoDB and all. We are just seeing it from the application point of view. Any doubts so far? Yes, no? Any responses? What this driver is doing for you, it's helping you to connect your application to your database. Okay, before adding data, I'm just creating a collection to store my documents, okay, inside a database. Understood? Any doubts so far? Are you facing any issues? No. Okay, so then we can proceed. Only if you tell me, I'll be able to know, guys. Okay, so please put that in your chat if you have any doubts. Okay, till here, if you have implemented, very good. Yeah, thank you. Done. Okay, I have created a collection. I have created database. Now I need to insert document, but I'm going to insert each document from my application. And for that, I'm going to use MongoDB driver. Okay, so before that, I need to connect my database, right? Like my connect my application to my database. Okay, but I'm using this Mongo driver. Okay, but I need some URL from here to connect it to my application, similar to how you connect it to your compass, right? How I connect it to my compass using an URL. Click the connect button again. Now I'm going to connect it to my application. Okay, so it's a Node.js, again Node.js driver. Okay, version 4.4, all the default one you can have. Simply copy this. Okay, and then paste it in your application, saying it's DB URL or anything what you wanted to call. Okay, save it as a string. This is the URL which I'm going to configure. Okay, similar to how you had password, I'm just going to remove and then add my password. Okay, so can you see something called first database here? So this is the database name. So what is our database? What's the name of our database?
User.
User, right? So I'll remove this first database and then have it as user. Okay, so you can also create an env file. Okay, have that in yeah, let me do it. Env. Okay, Mongo URL, which is equal to okay, nothing complex, right? I can get it from process.env.mongo URL. I'll be able to get this. What's this? Okay, so let's go back. I have got the URL to connect to my database. Okay, and I have just changed the password and the database name. Now let's go back. This is how I will connect it. Now let's go back to my Mongo driver. Let us implement one by one what it is told to implement in the documentation. Okay, I need to destructure and get only the Mongo client. Okay, so this is the URL which I was talking about. If you are connecting to a local URL, you will have the local URL also, right? You will have it in your shell command or in your compass. We are going to connect it with the Atlas, okay, the cloud version. So I have copied the URL there. So let me do the first step. Let me not copy it. Let us code it. Const, okay, just destructure Mongo require MongoDB, just destructure only the Mongo client. Okay, so with this, what we are going to do is, okay, create a new instance of, no, the new keyword, right? MongoDB, Mongo client is just a constructor function. Okay, how do you initialize a constructor function? Don't forget your JavaScript concept base. That's important. Okay, that's the core. Back and front end, front, back, side, always, everywhere you have JavaScript. Okay, so yeah, this is a constructor function. Okay, you create it using new keyword. So let us do that. You don't do this again. This is just to implement MongoDB. Okay, ideally, if you are doing it, you do all this database related stuff inside models. Okay, we will see that how to do that later. Okay, for now, let's focus on connecting our application to the database, and then we can do the refactoring part and all. Okay, so now I just wanted to initialize it with new Mongo client, and then I need to give the URL. My URL is in process.env.mongo. Oh, this one only, no? Yeah. If I have to use this, I'll have to use .env.config and all. Give me a minute. No. let's not do that. Okay, I have no, I don't have my phone here. I cannot connect it to VPN. Okay, you should be pasting it. Use .env package.config to use this. Now if I put it in .env, I need to install that package. Let me see if I can. npm .env. I think it should fetch from stale data, but let's see. Yeah, it's fetching it. Then no problem. So what do we need to do? Require .env .config. Okay, so and then only you will get that URL in your process.env file. So now my client is done. I have initiated the Mongo client. Okay, go back to our documentation only. Okay, now again, what you need to do is to connect it to your database first, right? So let us do it. Okay, where am I going to add the data here, right? So before adding the data, okay, first I need to connect to data DB, right? First we need to connect it to DB. So in order to connect it, we need to use client.connect. Okay, since this connection will take time, it's an asynchronous process, and you need to use either a promise based. Okay, this is a promise, right? Since it's a promise, only you are able to use await. Okay, we can use promise based syntax, or a simple one to be will be to use an async await keyword. So you can simply use await client dot connect. So this will take some time, right? So you need to put async keyword here. Okay, I'm done connecting it to the database. I'll wait till the DB is being connected. Okay, how am I connecting it? Using the Mongo URL, which I got it from Atlas. After connecting it, you need to mention the database and the collection name, right? If you wanted to store the data, you need to tell which database I need to store and which collection I need to add my document to. Correct? Uh, Are you getting used to the terminologies, collection, documents and all? Is it difficult? Like, by collection, I mean tables. Okay, each document is each entry, each JSON blob. Okay, after connecting, I need to mention the database part. Okay, now after connecting it, now I need to mention the DB name, and then I need to mention the collection name. Okay, just have it const DB, which is equal to client dot, I think it's, yeah, DB. What's the DB we have? User, right? In this particular DB, I have the collection. User details collection, or whatever you wanted to name it, which is DB dot collection. A DB can have multiple collections, right? So you need to mention which collection you are going to use it. I am going to use user details collection. That is the name I gave there as well. User underscore details. So this is not hyphen, this is underscore. Okay. Adding a DB a name, adding collection name. Okay. After adding the collection, you can simply insert the data, right? I have the collection. So when you have a collection, I can simply insert a document here, right? So my document is the request.body. After validating, I will have this as a document. So I need to insert. So this is the first CRUD operation we are going to see. Create, read, update, and delete are the 4 CRUD operations, right? You will need to add it, you need to update, edit, delete it. These are the 4 CRUD operations. Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So now we are done connecting and all. We are done mentioning the DB name. We are done mentioning the collection name and all. Now you need to just add the entry to your database. Okay. Use the collection object, user details or collection. if you can see here, you will see all the insert one, insert many. Okay, we are going to insert only one document. Okay, after this insert, we will see the MCQ run. Yeah. Okay, insert one. Okay, which is going to be a JSON object, right? Do you agree that my request.body itself is a JSON object? I
Yes,
need to
ma'am.
insert everything, right? So I can simply give request.body. Do you think this will be an async process? Because inserting into a database will take, will block your thread. So it should be an async process, right? So it's an async process. Again, use an await keyword here. Okay. So I'm just following everything in my Mongo thing only. Okay. You see here, you have got the collection, right? After getting the collection, you can insert, they have used insert many. We are using insert one. Okay. Now this will give me a result, add result. Okay, whether it is added or not, you will be able to know from this object. Okay, can we try to return this object and see what we are getting it? Cut, and yeah, here is where I am adding the data, and then I am sending the response of that to my client. Any doubt so far? That's all you have to do to connect it to your node database. Do you want me to repeat?
No, ma'am.
No? Others?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so just mention the use the driver, create the client, tell the URL which you wanted to connect to. Okay, connect to the database first, add the DB name, collection name, and then add document inside your collection. Okay, connecting to your database and adding data to your collection is an async process. So use await keyword. Okay, can we see what this add result is sending? Let me go and restart my sorry. I'm going to start it. If I go back, I have nothing, no document in my collection. Okay, no documents. Let me go back. Okay, let me try to install the same thing. If I don't give anything and then submit, okay, this is the required field. Probably I'm just trying to check if the validator is working. Okay. This is not the validator from our thing. Okay. Can you say enter valid mobile number? Okay. Phone is not valid. If I try to refresh my collection, it should not be added. Okay. It's not added. Okay. It's validating perfectly. Okay. Let's go back, give some valid data. Only numbers. Okay. So let me submit the detail. Now, if you can see here, this is the response. I got it after, adding my entry to my database. Okay. That is what I'm sending to the client. Can you see acknowledged true and then inserted ID? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So acknowledged true, meaning you have no errors and it's being installed successfully. Okay. Inserted ID. Let's go back to our cloud Atlas and then refresh. Can you see the document being added? We gave username, email, phone, job, and gender, right? So these are the values we gave, okay? But by default, your MongoDB will have a primary key associated with each document. If you give explicitly the underscore ID, it will take, let's say if I pass in underscore ID is equal to 1, it will put that value, okay? If I don't give, your Mongo will by default add a unique primary ID to each document, and that ID will be the one that is returned. Can you see this one and that one is exact similar? 599. Yes, that unique ID is returned. Understood how we are adding entries to the database?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is just one operation, right? like insert one. Okay, insert one. I'm adding just one document, one user's details. Okay, after adding this, yeah, let's have a 5 minutes of break. Okay, come back. Okay, I'll just add MCQ by then. Come back by 10:15, guys.
Ma'am, are you
Yes.
adding MCQ now?
No, I'll post it at 10:15 only.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, is everyone back? I have added the MCQ. Given 3 minutes. Post it for Tata batch. Yeah, they're done for Baba batch as well. Those of you who are just, from break, I have already posted the MCQ. Please answer it. Done, everyone, with the MCQ? Okay, cool. 19 people from Baba and 17 from Tata, which comes around greater than 30 if I'm right in mathematics. But I don't see those many people in the class. Okay, something is wrong. Okay, let's see. Let's come back to the class, guys. Okay, so this is what we have done. No confusion with how to insert data, right? Inserting. Now let us go and let me try to add two more users, right? Let me add Renas. Okay. Their valid mobile number. Mobile number is not valid. Yes, you have characters, so not valid. Okay. Now you should get that. No, refresh. My two documents are here. Okay. So now let us have a get API which lists all the users. Simply I'm getting all the users list and then displaying it. Okay. Can we have a separate route like this to get the users and then I need to connect to database and then get it? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now if you see here, again, I'll have to connect to database. Again, I'll have to mention the same DB collection. Ideally, all these users related information will go inside routes and the same controller, right? Same controller, you will have everything, right? So that is how even in this project you will be implementing. So it's enough if you mention one time, connect it in one time and then mention the database. So can we move all this up? Only the adding part I can have it in the post request. Let me remove this as well. Okay, only the adding it to my database I'm having it. All the connection part, let me move it up after connecting it to my client. So instead of having this globally, a better way would be to have a separate function and then call it. Okay, just grouping it. If you see the documentation also, that is how they have done it. That's, do not have it in global as much as possible. If you see all the connection thing and all, they have had it in a main function and then they are calling that main function, right? So you can name it anyhow. We can have it as initDB or MongoDB connection, anything of that sort. Okay, and I'm going to put all these, okay, till the collection naming, everything inside here. Since this uses an await keyword, this function should be an async function, and immediately I am going to call that function. Do you understand why we are doing this? I need to do the same set of process even for get as well. I don't need to do that, right? I can connect it once and then I can have it, right? So this users collection, I know this, if you see here, this is in the local scope of this function only, but I need to access this user details collection here as well. So what can we do here? What is the method that we can do here? So this is inside function, guys, local function. I cannot access user details collection inside this handler. What can we do here? Yes, no, any. I need to access this outside. Can we just put this variable outside? Yes, any response?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what's the issue here? Can you understand the issue in the first place? In line 18, this variable is in the local scope of this function only. I will not be able to access that collection variable outside that function, outside initDB function. I will not be able to access. So in order to access that, okay, I can simply, if it's a const variable, I cannot change it. Simply add it as null here. And on initialization, you just reinitialize it to collection. So now since this is in the outer scope, I will be able to access this, right? So let me stop the server, restart it again, and just check that part alone if it's working correctly. Now let me add Nileshwar. Okay, the max characters is 5, I believe. Okay. What's this random here? Okay. So it's working correctly. I am getting the data here as well, not here. Refresh. Yeah. So now, since it's already, connected, I can just fetch the data alone from here. So what is the uh, command function you have to use to fetch it? This is the same collection, right? So simply use user details collection dot find. Okay, so I don't have any conditions to find. I'm simply adding, getting all the data. Okay, I can simply, mention empty brackets. So this is for the condition. Let's say you want to fetch only particular user's ID, you will have to have that here. Now I want to fetch all the details, right? Like all the list of users, const user data equal to, so I'm going to send the user data here. Find, let's see what it is returning. Okay, of the server, and start it, go back. Now get call of slash users, right? So okay, I think I'll have to use to array. That's the
Write
syntax.
wait, ma'am. Then we'll fetch the data.
What?
Write async and wait in the
Okay,
query.
okay, got it, that we are missing it. Yeah, similar to, how we are using await keyword here, also we will have to use async and await. Okay, because it's all our async processes. Since we are not waiting it, we are getting the empty data itself. The promise is not being resolved. Now we should be able to get. Can you see all the three details here? Three user details, mine, Reena's and Nilesh's detail, everything in my database,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
All the three entries. So this is how you get data and you post data in your database. Okay, this is one way. Okay, we will see all the CRUD operations in the next half of the class. Okay, but connecting part to the application, now we have used MongoDB client. Tomorrow we will see with Mongoose, okay, which is again a library. We will see about that tomorrow, but this should be okay for now for connecting it to your node application.
Ma'am, you should or give the all operations without creating a schema. Why?
Without creating the schema,
Yeah.
yeah, that schema is not mandatory, right? So now we are saying just to, connecting the database alone. As I told, it's not mandatory to create the schema before entering the data. When we use Mongoose and all, you will have the schema part inside the models folder. Is that what you're telling?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that we will see later. Okay. Now we are just
Okay.
seeing a simple connection of the node with the node and the MongoDB. And then, just to demonstrate that schemas are not mandatory.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. If this will not be possible in MySQL, guys, okay, you will have to define what are the fields, what are the type of my fields, everything you'll have to define. Okay, so that's not how Mongo works. You need not, that's not mandatory. Okay, so understood the steps. Okay, after this three is important. Okay, for each you will have a separate collection. So based on in the separate all the user related will go into one particular file, right? So you can give one particular function to connect it to that collection. Okay, and then you do whatever operation you wanted to do using, this is one way of inserting a document, and this is to get all the document, even if you don't give two array, you will get it. Okay, it's not mandatory, just formatting kind of a stuff. Okay, so this is to get the find is to get the all the record. Since I didn't give any conditions here to find based on the data, it will simply return all the records in my database. Is this part clear? Any doubts?
No, man.
No others? Can we go to other CRUD operations? So
Okay.
this something similar of this sort will be your tomorrow's CC. Okay, so let's go back to my shell command and let me explain. Wait, let me see if my shell is actually connected to show DBS. Okay, it's connected to my local database only, but that's okay. Uh, this one. So show DBS, is everyone able to see my screen? Yes,
Yes,
better.
ma'am.
Okay. So show DBS is the command to view all the databases in your application. Okay, you can either do it in this way. Let me go to Compass and then demonstrate you by connecting it to the data which I already have, so that it will be easier. So just not avoiding the replication of creating the same in my local. Let me use connect, Compass, copy. Okay, just click on this one. This is the internal command line where you can put all your commands and then see. Show DBS will give you all the databases in your system. Okay, so this is the first command to view all the databases. So now let's say I want to use a particular database. Let's say I want to go and fetch details of user database. Okay, the command which you will use is use. Okay, you will say user. So we are switching it to that particular database. Okay, now you are inside your user database. Understood? If you want to change, go use admin. You will be switched to admin database. We are going to use user database. Now let's say you want to create a new database. Okay, even in the command line arguments you can do. Okay, even this you will need to know it, guys. Every time you cannot be seeing the data from the application itself. Okay, you need to query data in your database and then see for issues, and also you will need to practice writing queries inside the shell as well. Okay, have that in practice, relying on your application to view all the data. Let's say there is some issue with the application itself, and that because of that you are not able to view the data, right? So you will not be able to debug the issue and all. Okay, first you will have to make sure whether the data in your DB is right. Okay, in order to do that, do not combine it with the application and then check the issue. Okay, you should know to run commands in the command line itself to view the data in the database alone. Okay, now we have seen two commands: show DBS, which will list all your databases. If you want to switch to particular database, use command will be useful. Let's say I want to create a database. You don't have a separate command for that. Use keyword. Let's say I want to use add transaction database here. So I can simply give transaction. So what it will do is it will simply go and see in the list of databases. If it is not there, it will create a new database and then switch to it. Is that okay? How to create a database? Now, if I go and ask for show DBS, can you see transaction here? Can you say transaction here?
No,
No,
ma'am.
right? So your show DBS command will list the database only if it has any collections inside this. Okay. Do we have any collection here in transaction? No, right? So we
No.
need to see collection. You can, so in order to see all the collections, you can give show collections. Can you see empty here? If I go and use user database and then ask for show collections, can you see user details collection here? And that is the reason it got listed in DBS. But my transaction database don't have any collections, and that is the reason it was not listed. Okay, let me switch to transaction. Transaction database. Okay, now I need to create collection, right? So how do we create a collection? How do we create a collection?
Create
Eh,
command. Create collections.
Create collections. I did forgot. Let me check.
Yeah.
Mongo shell. DB dot, okay, correct. Create collection, that one. Got it. So what you need to do is once you have switched to that particular DB, now everything in the DB will be used with this keyword. Okay, DB dot create collection, and then you give the collection name, right? So you can give, let's say I wanted to create collection of for transaction. What's the collection? Let's say the collection name is going to be uh, transaction details. Okay, can you see a collection being created? Now, if I go and ask for show collections, it should list. Now, show DBs also should list transaction, because transaction database has a collection called transaction details. So far clear? How to create a DB,
Yes,
how to
ma'am.
create a collection, how to view collections, how to view all the databases. Now, okay. Now let's go back to our user only. Let's use all the CRUD operations there. So I have used this one. So db dot, okay, you have show collections. So this should have user details collection here, right? So now I need, what is the first operation? Okay, what is the first operation to, add it? You need to add the database, right? Like add entry. Let me bring in my notepad. Okay. So first is to insert documents,
One. Yeah.
right?
Insert one.
Documents. First one. Okay, so we already saw one way to insert. What is that?
Insert one.
Insert one, right?
Yes.
So yeah. So let's do that in the command only, not this one. Mongo compass. So db dot collection name. What's the collection name we have? User details is the collection name. In that collection name, I need to insert one. So insert one, okay. I need to mention what are the details I wanted to insert. Okay, let's say I'm going to insert email. Okay, xyz at gmail.com. Okay, I can have phone. There's some integer. Can have username, which is, let's say, Akhilesh. Yeah, I'm just inserting one document, right? What's the error? Okay, it's a string, so
Double quote, ma'am.
yeah. It will get kind of tedious when you are coding it in the shell, but that you have to practice. Can you see the same response that we got it in the application also? So it's being inserted, right? So let's go back to our atlas. This is the transaction details which I created using Compass. In user details, I have, but can you see the schema and all is different, but still you are able to insert the document, right? Okay,
Right, ma'am.
so yeah, schema is not mandatory, yes, but this is not a good practice days. Okay, so maintain the same schema as much as possible. Okay, just because it's schemaless, it will be difficult when you are building big applications and all. Have same key and all. Email is okay, username is okay, phone is okay. Probably gender and DOB I don't have, so I don't insert it, but that's okay. Don't have a different, like an email ID or something different property names and all. Yes, you can do it, but not suggested. Okay, so this is one way of inserting. Okay, next thing is you can insert many. Okay, db dot user details dot insert many. Okay, if it's a many, again it's going to be an array, right? I can have many objects here. Quote. Okay, I'm going to insert two. How can I increase this font size? Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see if I can increase the font size somewhere. Too small in the command. I couldn't see it. Okay, no problem, right? Everyone is able to see the font.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's add another username.
Ma'am, insert money or update money, we can do that.
Insert many.
Update money also we can do.
Update. Yes, that we will see. We are just seeing the insert part now. Okay, we will see one by one. Now insert many. I'm going to use username to be, let's say I'm adding Bhushan, right? Let's say we have only phone here. Okay, and in the next thing, you can add username to be Brian. Okay. Have email to be okay. So now I have inserted many and I have an array. Inside an array, I have two objects, right? The first is the first document and the second document. If I give enter, okay, can you see two responses? Acknowledge true and then two IDs here. The same will be available in my data as well. Okay, so this is inserting, insert one and insert many. There is one other thing which is called as Mongo. Yeah, that's, let me just quickly check my notes, which helps you to import it from the file. Yes, Mongo import, you can just have a JSON file and you can just dump all the data in that JSON file and inside the DB. That also you can do that. We will see that sample tomorrow. Okay, we can have a JSON file with all the data. Okay, and then add the entire JSON file itself using Mongo import. Okay, you can just mention db dot users details dot mongo dot, here I don't find it. There's something called Mongo import that we will see later. Okay, but insert part is clear. Insert one many. Yes. Now can we see reading data? So one way of reading data, you already know. What is that? Insert one and insert many. Okay. Now read data. What's the one way of adding, getting all the data from the DB?
Find.
Dot find, right? So
Yeah.
if you simply give, empty braces, it will return all the data, right? Similar to how you have find one and find all. This is find many. Okay, this will give all the data in your database. You can still mention the criteria and all, we can see later. And the other thing is to find one. It will just return only one entry. Okay, can we see this command, how it's working? So now I'm going to use db dot user details dot find one. Okay, I didn't give any condition here. Okay, if you see here, it's returning the first document. Yes, the very first document, find one
Yes,
command. Okay,
yeah.
now I can go and ask for find. It will simply return all the document in my database. This is without condition. Okay, now generally you don't want to do that. You will have to specify certain conditions, right? Okay, so let's come back. The arguments are going to be the first one. Why am I not able to edit it here? I'm not able to see the cursor. Okay. So dot find. Okay, inside that I have empty braces, right? So the first parameter is the query parameter. Meaning if I wanted to mention criteria, let's say I wanted to fetch the details of users whose age is less than 15, or whose email ID is so and so. So these are criterias, right? Querying based on users data itself, conditions. So that is the first parameter. I have given that as an empty, and that's the reason it is returning all the details in place of find, whereas the first one in find one. Okay, but you will have certain criteria to fetch the query, right? So to fetch the data. So first one is the query part, and the second one is something called projection. We'll come to projection later. We will first see what query is doing. Query, this two things are same for find and find one. Okay, so let me go to Mongo. When I say find one, or let's say find only. Okay, now what is the criteria? Let's say I want to fetch user with email ID this one. Okay, with email ID this one. So you can just simply mention email. Okay, this is also JSON object base. This is also a JSON object, okay, which is email, which is equal to xyz@gmail.com. Now, if I try to get enter, can you see only that document is being fetched? Even though I gave find, which should return all the data, since I have mentioned the criteria here, I am getting only one because only one is matching. Let's try to fetch all the people or okay with the gender M, right? Gender is M. Okay. Now, if you see, there are two details with gender M, right? Two documents. Yes, can you understand like how you are mentioning criteria here? Let's say I need to mention two criteria. Gender is M, and I want to mention the email has to be this one. So in that case, only one entry should be returned, right? So simply add a comma. Everything are key value pair, guys. Okay. Just however you were using so far, just use the same way. Email is going to be nileshwar@ateneo.com. If I give simply enter, can you see both the criterias are fulfilled? Correct? You can add as many criterias here. So this first parameter, which is an object, is called query parameter. You can have all the criterias you wanted to have it here. Understood? Okay. So this find with gender M criteria returned two objects, right? Two documents, not objects, two documents. What do you think if I have the same criteria with find one? What would be the result? What would be the result for this?
Getting all.
Find gave me two documents with gender M. What will find one give me? Get all. Is it? It will give me the same result, is it?
Yes.
Let's see.
No.
No, okay. It will not give. Even if you have two documents which matches the criteria gender M, okay, since you have used find one, only the first document will be returned, and that's the reason I get here. Okay, if find one will return only one document, whatever condition you mention. Even if there are plenty of results that match that query, find one will return the first document only. Is that clear? Yes, can we go
Yes.
to next one? Okay, now this
Yes,
first
sir.
part is clear. The query part is clear, right? So now if I give this thing one, I get the entire document, right? Entire document. I don't want all these details. I want only username. Okay, I want only the username alone. So what can I do is that is going to be my second parameter. This is called as projection. Projecting whatever fields or arguments you want, leaving aside the unnecessary one. I don't need all the details and all. I need only the username. So what you can do is simply mention an object again. Okay, mention the keys whatever you wanted to. Okay, what I want only the username. Okay, got it till here? Okay, so here one stands for true, meaning return the username. Okay, I'll explain further on that. But if I try to hit, can you see the ID is being returned and only the username? Here, instead of returning the entire document, okay, it's returning only the username, because I have said to return only the username. Is that clear? Let me go and ask for phone. Phone 1. Hit enter. Can you see username and phone? Okay. By default, ID will always be returned in MongoDB because it's a primary key, right? So it will be returned by default. If you don't want that primary key, if one is true, what would be the false value?
0.
0, right? Yes. So if I give ID 0, okay, I won't get the other fields. Sorry, the ID field. Understood what projection is? What is the second parameter doing? Just give what all fields you want as true, as which is 1, and ID by default it will be 1. Okay, you can change that to 0. By default, all the other details will be 0 only. Okay, you cannot, if I go and give 0 here, if I go and give 0 for phone, it will give an error, I believe. Yes, it will give an error because by default itself, it is 0 only. You can only override the default thing. So giving 0 for other fields other than ID, okay, which is by default 1. ID alone by default 1, guys. Others are all by default 0. So only you can give the opposite values. Okay, if you give 0 for other fields, it will give error. Understood what projection is doing? What are the query criterias? How to fetch based on certain criterias alone? Can we go to next CRUD operation? Yes, this is not, no, this is basic CRUDs again. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Abhishek. Yes, if you don't pass the projection, it will return all the details in your entire document itself. Understood? You will have it by default if you don't give projection. Okay, that is what we saw earlier and all, right? I gave only the query. It returned the entire document. If I give projection, it returns only the required fields. Understood? Okay. So now again, you have many comparators, many operators and all. This is very, this criteria also, you can have or and all, right? This, let's say you want email IDs of, let's say you have 4 to 5 email IDs and you want users of all those email IDs only. Then you will have to use some operators and all to fetch that. We will see that complex part and all then and there when we have the requirement. Okay. But the basic stuff, basic CRUD operation should be clear. Now, read is done, insert is done. Next, what is pending?
Delete, update.
Yes. Can we go to update first and then delete?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah, it's a simple one. Let me finish it. Okay. So db.user_details.update. Update 1 again, update 1, update many is also there. Let's update 1. Okay. In update, okay, let me go back to my notepad. Yeah. Update document. Okay, you have update 1. Okay, the arguments which you have to pass in for the update 1 is to first filter. Okay, you need to filter out from the entire collection, right? From all the document, you need to filter out only certain documents which you are going to update, right? If it is update 1, you need to filter one document, right? So you need to mention the criteria of the filter in the first place. Next one is the update. Okay, the next one is the options part. We will see that later. Let's see the first one alone. Okay, let's go back to my compass. Okay, filter. Okay, let us say I wanted to filter phone number of Nileshwar's entry. Okay, this is the phone number, right? So I wanted to filter based on what is unique here. Let's say email is unique. Okay, update
ID
1.
unique.
ID will also be unique. Yes, correct. Probably I can have ID which is okay. This is the filter part. I'm filtering based on ID. So Nileshwar's record should be available here. Okay. Filtering is done. Okay. Next one. Okay. I need to update. What am I going to update here? I can update any field, right? Okay. I can update email. I can update gender. I can update phone, any details. Okay. So let's say I wanted to update phone here. Or let's say, let us say that I wanted to update phone. Okay, in order to update, okay, you have plenty operators. Okay, one operator is the set operator. Okay, you have set, you have unset, many operators. We will see one by one later as and when you learn about it. Okay, the first one is going to be I don't know where my cursor is, and this is causing the problem. Okay, the first one is the set operator. Okay, we will see all the operators one by one as we go proceed with our class. Okay, so the first one is going to be a set operator. So you simply mention set. I think it should be an object, right? No, you just mention set and then give the object here. What I wanted to update, phone, right? Phone. Let's say I wanted to change it to 1234. Okay, is this part clear? I want to set phone to 1234. Let's not consider about the options now. I'll tell you later. If I try to enter, okay, it's
Put
giving me
inside the
here.
set curly bracket, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll have to have the curly bracket here as well. Okay, so if you can see here, true, match count is 0. Why is it 0? It's true, but none of the records matched. Okay, nothing is modified. Is it because of the ID here? Let me quickly check. It should not be. Let's try it with other fields. Let's try with email. Okay, probably some issue with fetching it based on ID. I'll figure that out. What's the issue? But if I get it with email ID, because it's a string, okay, it's working. I think for ID, it's another type. I'll have to mention it accordingly. Okay, but if you see here, the matched account is 1. Okay, one record is matched, and I have changed the phone number of that match. So modified count also you got. So now let us go and get Nilesh's details. Find this one, right? Gender, email, phone. Yes. Can you see it's being modified to 1234? Yes. So this is how you change existing values. Okay, I have changed phone number to 1234 for Nilesh's record. Again, you can update one, you can update many as well. Okay, so now let's say you want to remove phone entirely. Okay, you can simply give empty. Okay, remove this phone key itself here. Okay, you can simply give empty. So what it will do is, if you can see here, matched count, modified count is 1. Now if I go and get for details, it's empty. I think I should set null, is it? Since I'm projecting is, and since I'm requesting phone, it's just adding it and then giving me empty string. But in my DB, that is not there, right? Let us go back and check in the thing itself. Let me refresh. Phone is being changed to null, but I wanted to remove it entirely.
But ma'am, you can unset, na?
Yes, unset, correct. Got it. That's another operator. Okay, unset. Uh, okay. Yes. Thank you. I thought like this set itself will work. Okay. Unset is another operator to remove the properties. Okay. Set
Property.
and unset. Okay. So the phone is completely removed here. If you use set, it will just try to change alone. So update clear. Any doubts or no? You can update as many fields you want. It's not only one. Okay. You can unset, let's say I wanted to unset phone. I want to unset DOB as well. You can set as many fields you want. You can say no, get also. Okay, if you see DOB is gone here. So this is how you update details. Okay, set and unset are operators to change and then delete fields. Okay, again, update many, similar to other things, say exact same, just that multiple records will be matched. Okay, let's say, let me show you an example of that as well. Update many, sorry. Oh,
Capital N, ma'am.
okay, yeah. Update many, let us know based on gender. Let me set, okay, all people who of gender M. Okay, I'm going to set a new field, test. Okay. I think to create one, I should add few. Okay, okay, I have just added a new property here. Okay, and to get that, okay, let us fetch and see all details of gender M. They should have a new field called test. Can you see here? Test. Understood how to update many? Same, everything ditto. To update one, everything is same. Okay, just that instead of modifying one entry, one document, it will modify two documents. Okay, everything of gender M got a new property called test. Okay, can we quickly see how to delete? Delete is simple.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, it's already 11 now. Okay, sorry. DB dot user details dot delete one and delete many. Let's say I want to delete one with username Nilesh. Okay, username. Okay, deleted true. Now if I go and use DB dot user details dot find, if you see, you will not be able to see Nilesh's details here. Got it? Delete one, again delete many. Let's say I want to delete all with uh, uh, gender, let's say all with what's the common data? No common data anyway. Okay, let's
Email is common data.
email. Which one?
Yeah.
I don't have
But
email common.
you can also use your phones, I think.
Yeah, yes, I can use, but let's see how to delete it. Now delete many. Again, you can mention, gender, let's say F. We have only one entry of gender details of F. Ideally, that should be deleted. If you see here, deleted count you will get. If you have multiple, all those will be deleted. Now, if I go and ask for it, if you can see, it's not available. Understood? You can also have multiple conditions or and all those conditions we will see later. Okay, as and when no different operators, different conditions, grouping of conditions and all, we will see further in the class. Okay, let me quickly add one MCQ. Understood? Any doubt? Just CRUD operations, how to integrate it with your node application.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I quickly went through the commands, but that's not complex. I believe if you know one thing, you will be able to do it others as well. Yeah, added MCQ for Tata batch. added for Baba batch as well. If any one of you have difficulties in installation, stay back. You can share your screen. We can discuss. Added last MCQ for Baba batch. Yeah. Added last MCQ for Tata. Added attendance. Tomorrow we will see how to integrate Mongo's library. Okay, what schema definitions, what models are. Okay, and how to, if time permits, how to connect your MongoDB Atlas in your Heroku, right? That is pending. We have just hosted only a simple application, right? Not with database integration. Simple one, we will do that. If time permits, else on Monday. Yes. Any doubts? Good night for anyone who's leaving. Others, if you have any doubts on installation of your MongoDB, please share your screen. Let us resolve it. Local, not mandatory. At least the cloud version, you should be able to do it. Okay, we are going to use only the Atlas moving forward. Okay, because cloud, too many of configurations to be made, and you cannot access data. Even yes, attendance created, Abhishek.
Ma'am, for Bhava batch, please create attendance.
I did it just now. Okay, is it not now? I just now did it, but let's see. Are you able to do it?
Yes, now it's open.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night, everyone. Others, good night, Ebrar. Yeah. Any doubts on the installation, MongoDB Atlas? Are you able to connect it? Just connect it either in Shell or in Compass or in your application. Okay. Just check that.
Ma'am, hello.
Yes, Subhash.
Ma'am, can you explain the CC week 31 day 2?
Week 31, day 2. Baba batch, is it?
Baba batch, yeah.
Yeah, same only for both the batches I'm uploading. Week 31, day 2. Let me download it. That's static hosting only, right? Like, okay. Third, actually defining the routes in the Node.js. Okay. That has been done previously. All of them was in Heroku in the homepage route. Okay. You should display a list with 3 links of. Mhm. Okay. Each individual CC must have. You want me to share the screen? Yeah.
Yes, actually, I get some error in my code, not MongoDB. From
Just creating a REST API
Mhm.
and running in the VS Code. So I get some error.
Yes, yes. Let me first clear this and then come back. Okay. So, Subhash, okay, so you already have CCs and assignments, right? So
Yes,
what
ma'am.
you do is simply create a HTML page with link to your previous, no, let's say you create 3 CCs, okay, club them together in a one application, create a HTML page with links to that, and then host that application. Is that okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so just club 3 CCs, any 3 CCs which has HTML, CSS, and JS. Okay, add a HTML page with a list of the link of the 3 CCs. So, no, you should go to that application and then go back, no, navigate between to and fro between your 3 applications.
Okay, ma'am.
None of the URL should include .html. Okay, don't host it in public, inside public, and then don't use .static and then use it. Have a route for each one of them. Okay, homepage route, and then send a file from that route. Okay, URL only should not have .html. Okay, you can send HTML files from your server. That is okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing. Yes, go ahead. I have given the permission. Swapnil, is it? Yeah.
Shall I?
Yes, yes, Swapnil. Yes, so Swapnil.
Ma'am, I'm trying to run, but I got this error code. Error
Port is
number 9.
already used. Okay. So just try to run in app port. Do you have anything called app port? Just try to change the port. Like I think, go to your node. Yeah. What is happening is you have towards your right, you have PowerShell node and JavaScript debug, right? Just click on node. Okay. Yeah. Can you see that it is already running? Stop this first. Give control X. Yeah. Now go to your other terminal.
PowerShell.
Yeah. That's also stop, right? So now if you try to run it, you should be able to. Okay. Yeah.
Got it, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. You're already running the
I
application, right?
want to get this some. I create this env file.
Mm-hmm.
I want to access this one in our app.js. So how can just
You have already done it, right?
yes, but I got the only port number 3002. But I want to use this port number actually env db port number.
Okay.
DB port
Use DB port instead of app port. You will be able to access all the port in your
So
app.js using
how can
process.env.
actually I'm accessing on 3002 on app port. So
Yes.
how can you add this DB port, man, in app.js? Just
You
here, man.
want, yes, yeah,
I
correct.
want to add their DB port.
Yes. The key, whatever you gave in your env file. So now I know you haven't changed the first parameter. This is just the printing
Yeah,
rate, right? Inline.
get it, ma'am.
Yeah. You will be able to access all the key value pairs inside env object.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Any other doubts, Swapnil?
Ma'am, if I want to yeah, just right now, I just create a server.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am just a minute, ma'am.
Okay.
Here I am creating one. These applications. Ma'am, whenever how can use this in the object table, ma'am? Actually, I have just create single object. If I want to create a single object in multiple key and value pairs, so how can and how we can access from? Actually, I just know that app.get, but app.post and app.delete cannot be uh, able to access in my uh, Postman.
Why are you just organizing the data in that particular structure? Can you just go up?
Is this yesterday second day one CC, ma'am?
Yes, CC. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you need to add ID to every object? Can you not have one ID and then key value pairs as book name, price, ISB?
Ma'am, the ID I have created actually just single ID cannot be created. I have created on this one, ma'am. Separate, not I did separately in user.json
Yes.
cannot able to
So
access from your users on JSON, so I can simply create an object here and use handling, and I can handle it.
okay. So the issue is here. Okay. Yeah. Just scroll up the data structure itself. Okay. You have an array of books. Okay. That
Yes,
array of book
exactly the
have,
name.
yeah. So you can have one single object to contain all the details of your book itself instead of having 6, 7 objects to just hold one book details. You can have one object to store the entire book details. Okay.
I
So
tried, ma'am, but I get error.
what error did you get? Just
Actually,
remove all the curly braces.
I did here.
Yeah, this is the structure we needed. Yeah.
Okay, but how I can use here, ma'am? I don't know. Actually, I'm tried a lot, but not get.
Yeah. Can you give me access?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you given it, Shafal? Okay. Okay. So you have a JSON file, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you need to import that in your app.js.
Yeah, got it, ma'am. It's like
So you can simply import it, and that will have your entire details in your JSON. Books will give you the entire JSON. So do not have it this way. Okay. Books is an array, right? So have it as an array. Okay. And add as many books you want. Okay. Have books as an array. So when you try to import it in your app.js, okay, dot books. Okay, let's try to import const books is equal to require, which is just users.json, right? Just give a different name. Now, if you just try to console dot log, get books is the object, right? Like books. Name this as books data, books JSON of books object. Okay, copy that. So books object is this entire, I'm not able to paste it. Okay, books obj. Okay, so this obj is this entire object itself, entire JSON object itself. So if you want only the books array, okay, you can simply give dot books. Okay, this should print your books array itself. Is that clear?
yes, ma'am. And is it no, ma'am? But how we can? I can. I know the get method, but I don't. Whenever I'm trying to post and
Post, this is
delete.
a file, right? Post, this is a file. So you need to
Yeah,
use file systems, FS module.
FS module. Oh, I
Yes.
forgot.
Yeah,
Thank you,
this is
ma'am.
a file, right? Because if you are using in memory something of this kind, okay, if you are using something of from line 29, okay, then you no need to use FS module. But this is a file, right? So you need to
Yeah.
use FS module in order to write. We already have a sample in our GitHub. Okay, you can just check that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, others, any doubts? I see few people staying. Yeah, Srinivas, Subhash, Kanho, Prague.
Yes, ma'am. I have a small doubt.
Yes, Prague, go ahead.
Ma'am, suppose I store the JWT token in a cookie,
Mm-hmm.
and now a user is hitting logout. So at that time, what should I like perform action?
Okay, have an in-memory storage as of now, or have a separate DB store. Okay,
Ma'am,
data.
actually, ma'am, I'm storing the JWT token in a cookie. Ma'am.
Oh, no problem. When you are getting the logout operation, you will get the JWT token in the cookie, right?
Mhm.
Take that cookie, take that token, store it in a database. Okay, even though it is a valid one. So next time when the user try to log in or access for any other operation, okay, you just verify the token, right? First. So on verifying, it will be valid. Okay, after verifying, if it is valid, just go and check in the DB if that token is being present. If it's present, it means that it is a logout operation. So you simply invalidate the token and then send it.
Yeah, like how can I do that? Like how can I delete that cookie?
Why do you need to? You cannot delete it. Okay, you can delete the, you can send empty cookie next time, but that token, that is no, I told you the disadvantage of JWT. Once it's created and then sent out, you cannot even invalidate it until and unless and until it expire by itself. It will be valid always. So, and that is the reason if the user try to log out, you have a reference of that token, okay, stored somewhere. Okay, and later when the user comes and asks in with the same token, even though it is a valid token, okay, even though it's a valid token, since you have stored that as to be, as an invalidate token in a separate database, you just check that valid token is present in the database. If it is present, you simply invalidate it. Meaning you simply say that it is an invalid token and then reject the request. Is that clear? I'll also implement it in one of the extra classes. I just said the theory part now. Understood, Prag? Any doubts?
Yeah, clear.
So I'm just saying, whenever you get a logout operation, okay, just have the reference of that token somewhere, either in memory or a database. Database would be a better option. Okay,
Yeah, I'm storing
stored,
in database.
yeah, store that valid tokens which are already logged out. Okay, valid tokens logged out. Okay, two conditions. Store it in the database. Okay, when later when you are trying to verify every token, right? On every request you will verify the token. After
Yes.
verifying the token, if it is valid, go and check if that valid token is present in your database. If it is present, meaning the user has logged out, right?
Mhm.
So, and that's the reason you are storing it in the database. So if it is there in the database, simply reject the request saying it's an invalid token. Understood?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And
We'll try to implement in one of the extra sessions.
ma'am, one more thing. Like, have you worked on Node Mailer?
Node mailer?
Yeah.
No, no, Prag. What is that? Is that a package?
Yes, ma'am. Like to send email from Node.js.
Okay.
गूगल ही तो करो
Uh-huh.
गूगल कर लो ना W3 स्कूल पे वो है पूरा पैकेज
No, it's not. I'm not able to implement that.
वहां पे सिंपल पूरा कोड लिखा हुआ कॉपी और पेस्ट कर लो हो जाएगा
Okay.
बस अपना ईमेल आईडी और पासवर्ड डाल देना और जो ईमेल आईडी रिक्वेस्ट बॉडी से मिल रही है वहां पे एडिट कर
Like
देना
any email ID, like Yahoo or Gmail, anything work?
जीमेल के लिए तुम्हें सिक्योरिटी लेस करनी पड़ेगी और सिंपली
Security
यूज
less.
फॉर आउटलुक
Okay, that's why, because like when I was doing because of the security reason, I was not able to log in.
हाँ हाँ मैंने जीमेल से लॉगिन किया था पर सिक्योरिटी लेस करनी पड़ी थी तो
Okay.
तुम आउटलुक यूज कर लो ना
Outlet.
हाँ आउटलुक
Outlook. Okay.
या
Okay. I think like even in Gmail, in the settings, you can just ignore that part. No, you can
Yes, ma'am.
configure it in the Gmail settings. I haven't
Yeah.
worked with Node, but I have configured it with Java-based mail integrations. But when I tried in Gmail, we will have to make certain setting configurations.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, probably I'll also check. Let me know
Yeah.
what's the problem later. Yeah, I'll check the Node mailer part, but I haven't worked on that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay,
Good night,
Subhash.
ma'am.
Yeah. Good night, Prag. Good night, Shubham. Srinivas. There are many doubts?
Ma'am, what is MongoDB is doing? Because we are connecting it with AWS or Google Drive or something. So what is the use of MongoDB in this?
Mongo is the database. AWS is just a cloud provider. It is just hosting the Mongo database in your cloud, and then it's giving you the access.
Sorry, ma'am, can you explain?
Okay. So AWS is the cloud provider. Okay, it will just host your application. There are multiple. No, AWS you cannot say it's just host your application. They have their own database as well, DynamoDB. Okay, but AWS is a cloud hosting application. What your MongoDB is doing is hosting your Mongo instance, that is the cluster, in AWS, and it's giving you an URL. That's all. Database is still Mongo's. Okay, so it's similar. Think in terms of how you're deploying your application into Heroku. Right. Similarly, a Mongo is hosting its database in AWS. That's it. Cloud hosted database.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. You can have that in local or you can have it in cloud, right? So Atlas is just the cloud version. MongoDB local, which we installed first, that's the local version. Yeah.
Okay, so ma'am, it's like a Cloudinary. There also we are taking the link and pasting in our code. Right?
Instead of storing the images, you cannot generalize that, but yeah, it's hosting an image and hosting a database is a complex, but on the very high level, it's similar.
No, ma'am, if someone asks, so that's why I'm clearing all my doubts.
Yeah. No problem. No problem at all. But yeah, there we are hosting an image and getting the URL. So here, Mongo is hosting the database in the AWS. That's why we say database as a service, right? Software as a service, database as a service. If you go and check the Mongo Atlas, you will see database as a service word mentioned there. So basically, they're hosting the database in the AWS and then giving you access in the cloud and then giving you access.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Can we end the class now? There are many doubts. Shubham. Okay, guys. Good night. Bye. Let's catch up tomorrow.
Okay, ma'am.
Good night.